Hope everyone is doing well. I just wanted to go over the attendance check-in with you because there's still some problem areas. So at what x value will the equation reach a minimum y value of -1? Well, first you have to find the period. So it's 2 pi divided by 6, which gives you pi over 3. Okay, so we know that's the period. Pi over 3. Half of pi over 3 is pi over 6. Half of pi over 6 is pi over 12. Then you have 3 times pi over 12, which gives you pi over 4. Okay, now our amplitude is 1. So you have 1 here and -1. It's a sine graph, so you start at the midline, then you go to the max, then the midline, then the min, then the midline. And then you connect as a smooth curve. So it says, at what x value will the equation below reach a minimum y value of -1, which is pi over 4. Okay. Then if we look at number 2, which equation has a period of 2 pi, okay, maximum at -1 and minimum at -3. So 2 pi, again, if that's period of 2 pi, equals 2 pi over b, cross multiply and divide, you end up with a b value of 1. So right now we can eliminate those two. So now we want to see which equation will have a period of 2 pi, maximum at -1, minimum at -3. So if I look at the difference between, if you have maximum of -1 and a minimum of -3, well, your amplitude must be 1. So therefore, my midline is 2. So if you add these two together and divide by 2, you end up getting -2. So the correct equation is y equals cosine of x minus 2. Then these equations, it seems like a lot of people are having trouble on. You want to select the equation for the graph below. You use always the y-axis as your starting point. Then you see, are we starting at the max, min, or midline? Here you're starting at the midline. So since it starts at the midline, it is a sine graph. And to tell the period, when do we reach the midline after one full rotation is 2 pi. So the period is 2 pi, okay, and it's a sine graph, so we could eliminate these guys. Now, it's typical from the parent function sine graph, we typically go up to the maximum, okay? But now we're going down, so it's the minimum, therefore it's a reflection. And the distance from the midline to the minimum is 2. So it's -2 sine of x, okay? Now, this next question, you're using the graph for the remaining 3 questions. So again, we highlight the y-axis and, okay, where are we starting? Well, here we're starting at the maximum, okay? So this must be a cosine graph, okay? And we have to see where it ends, okay? So 1 period is pi units. So what is the period and value of b for the graph? The period is pi, so we can eliminate this one and this one. Now we have to figure out what the b value is. So pi equals 2 pi over B. Cross multiply. Divide by pi. And you have a B value of 2. So it's going to be this guy here. If your B value was 1/2, then you would have a period of 4 pi. Okay. So the next equation, using the graph, what type of graph and the amplitude? Well, it's a cosine graph because you're starting at the maximum. And the amplitude, well, first we have to find the midline. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 3 gives us the midline. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So if this is the midline, then we have from the midline to the max, 1, 2, 3. Midline to the min, 1, 2, 3. So the amplitude is 3. Okay, it's a cosine graph and the amplitude is positive 3, or the A value is positive 3. Okay, the last question is, using the graph above, what is the equation of the graph? Well, we know that the amplitude is 3, so you could automatically eliminate these two. We also know the period is pi. Okay, we know the period is pi, but we also have a vertical shift of -1. So your answer should be, if I go back here, y equals 3 cosine of 2x minus 1. Now, do we have that in our answer bank? No, we don't. So it would be none of the above. Okay. So again, this is most likely a typo to forget the -1 here. So it should have been none of the above. Okay. So I hope this helps going through it, as well as the other videos that I've posted. If you have any questions, as always, please reach out. Thanks.